everybody, my name is Adam. This is a show where I share some of my ideas on how to make your Pathfinder games easier to run and more fun to play. I'm going to be making some changes because I feel like the show as it is right now isn't quite as fun to watch as it could be, so I think I'm going to change up some things. Number one, I think I'm not going to be quite as detailed with the character descriptions as I used to be, because I feel like I could just give you the notes that I use to prepare these things. So I think I'm going to just give you the link to a Google document, so then you can just read the whole thing at your leisure. And what I'm going to be doing on this show is just giving you a much shorter, much more important sort of synopsis for each character in each setting and each plot in the one shot. That rhymed. That's good. And then the musings are just going to be the same as they were before, because they were just like a one through sort of thing, so I like doing those. I think I'm going to like doing this show a lot better. I figure it'll be more fun to watch. It'll be a little bit sillier. Yeah. Let's get on to character things while I look up my notes. Okay, so the first character we have for today, her name is Donella Houndguard. She's a halfling cavalier, and her order is in the Advanced Race Guide, so if you don't have that, it's fine. They have it on their website. And what I mean by that is Paizo has it on their website, on their little reference, whatchamacallit. The things that are important to know about Donella is that one of her biggest motivations is that she's been looking for a romantic partner her whole life. Her other big motivation is to stay devout to her order. She was born into like a caravan of halflings. They just travel around, but everybody has to do their part to protect the caravan. And what she does is she works with an order within the caravan called the Hound Guards, or the Order of the Hound Guards, which is how she received her last name. And basically what this group does is they're very good at fighting themselves, but they're also very good at making the other halflings cooperate. Like, most of them are fine at protecting themselves, but they're not like trained to work in a group. So you might have some rogues running around and maybe a wizard or two in this caravan, but nobody to really organize them or get them to work together. The Hound Guards ride on wolves, of course, and they get everybody to cooperate. That's basically what she is. Okay, the setting I have for you today is a wetlands sort of area. Basically wetlands for quite a few ways, also a little bit of sparse forest thrown in there, and if your players are traveling through this setting, they may eventually run into a gazebo sort of thing, painted white. If they go under it, they'll be able to see on the ceiling Desnan symbology, the symbology of Desna, the goddess of stars and travelers. And so like butterflies and stars and things like that. Well, there's like a mechanism in the center of this gazebo where they can pull them up, or let me explain that a little bit better. There's sort of basically a makeshift mechanical elevator in the center. So what they can do is like get in the center, and there's like a platform, and they can pull themselves up to the top of this gazebo. Because if you're making a building devoted to Desna, you're going to have to make it a stargazing sort of facility, I think. And on the top, there's just a spyglass laying on the roof, as well as some coins. I've put down 7 gold coins and 16 silver coins. Sorry, I had to look at my notes. So, 7 gold coins. You may be interested to know, I'm filming this at 6 in the morning, and I have gotten no sleep whatsoever. So yeah, it's entirely possible for your players to steal the spyglass if they want to, and of course the coins as well. These coins were used as an offering to Desna, so if you're the kind of GM who likes to inflict curses on their players, taking the money might invoke Desna's upsetness. At 6 in the morning, I'm done with the setting. No sleep whatsoever. Okay, and the plot hook I have for you today is that your players, for some reason or another, need somebody revived from the dead. And they find an alchemist who may or may not be lying to them, who says, "Hey, I have a very cheap and effective way of resurrecting this person that you need to be raised from the dead. But while it's cheap, it's not simple to do. This alchemist needs a type of rare flower called the Abyss Lily. They need somebody raised from the dead, and this alchemist has a way to do it. So they're probably going to obey what he needs and find these flowers for this guy so he can make extracts of them and do what he needs to." There is another problem with this, though, in that there are 3 different varieties of this Abyss Lily. One of them is, I'm giving you the finger, I'm sorry. One of them is the one that you want. One of them is another variety which harbors a kind of caustic bacteria. But basically they'll touch it and their hands will get burned off, basically, if they're not careful. And then another one's just purely decorative and doesn't do much of anything. While they're in the area looking for these Abyss Lilies, there's going to be a traveler that comes up to them, and she has one of the true, actually not fake or dangerous Abyss Lilies. And she will fall in love if there is a suitable member of the party to fall in love with. And maybe give the Abyss Lily as a romantic present, I guess is the word. Something like that. And you may have to court her or him or not. I'm giving you these plots to you. They're for you to deal with. And tying this all together, I have a one-shot idea where they need somebody brought back from the dead, so they visit the alchemist, and he says, "Here, go find this Abyss Lily thing," and then the players go, and then they go into these wetlands that I've talked about in the setting part. And while they're in these wetlands, they're searching for the Abyss Lily and all of this sort of stuff, and there's a caravan going through. A caravan of halflings, and they meet Donella Houndguard as kind of the emissary of this group, and saying, "What are you doing?" and that sort of thing, and she's going to ask them their motives, and she will be one of the people who has an Abyss Lily. I have all of this in the description, so I'm done. I also today have decided I'm going to give you an idea for some music you can use to set the mood for the setting. And let me look up what that is, because I've forgotten. You can find this on Spotify, by the way. Okay, it's a song called Escalay, or Waterwheel, and it is performed by the Kronos Quartet. Okay, next I'm going to go on a short musing about economies in Pathfinder. Pathfinder has rules for settlements having their own stats. Like making certain cities or towns more corrupt or more crime-ridden, more economic. I'm literally running through the list of characteristics that they have. Each place will have a certain economy modifier, and for each one it goes up or down. It will either go up or down 3% in the prices of everything, just to symbolize the inflation of that town as everybody's buying more things and everybody's allowed to sort of raise their prices a little bit more because it's a prosperous economy. They can afford to do that and still retain their customers. I actually touched on this a little bit earlier in a in a chaotic campaign episode called Zangzurin is a Drunk Bastard. And Inspy Boulders has a flourishing economy because it's a crime town. So everything costs about 10% more expensive, and that's because I tried to sneak that in there because the economy of that town is a +3. So 3 times 3 is 9%, so everything's going to be about 10% more expensive. Say that town that has a +4, everything's going to be 12% more expensive. But say you have a different town which is suffering from a plague or something like that, that has a -2. Everything would be 6% less expensive. So say you have some kind of armor that costs 100 gold pieces. In this town it will only cost 94 gold pieces, because they're willing to lower the prices a little bit just to have people afford what they're producing. Alright, I think that's enough for today. I'm going to be making a duplicate video, so if you see in my next episode me wearing the exact same clothes, that will be why. Bye bye everybody.